You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Gene Johnson.
The AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Twisted After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Twisted After Show.
Hello everybody, Bing is for doing, and we're here doing another after show for ABC Family's Twisted Season 1, Episode 5, The Fest and the Furious. And we've got a little prom music playing for you all in the background, taking it back to some NSYNC. I'm Jason Ikeler, and joining me as always,
I'm Heather Joy Smith.
I'm Lina Green.
I'm Stephen Lemieux.
and we've got kind of a dramatic episode. Before we get into the episode, I would like to say, Stephen, that we were all right in our predictions.
I know, we all were
wrong.
My prediction.
I predicted that too.
We were all right.
We're obviously starting with the end, the big, huge kiss, but we'll build our way up to that. So it's Fall Fest in this little town, and it's kind of the big thing where everybody comes together, and there's drama because nobody wants Danny to show up. Poor thing.
Danny.
But, I mean, honestly, who wants a murderer at their festival? Besides Stephen.
I think it's important to first start out with the dream that Lacy had.
We can talk about that. That was a weird...
It was scary.
Weird way to start the
I
episode
don't think it was scary. I thought it was weird.
It was creepy.
Like, it was, like, trying too hard to be funny, I thought.
No, I don't think it...
Like, she was eating the peanut butter, and it's like, God's a vegan.
I think the peanut butter has to do with something that we don't know yet. Like, it's going to be one of those things we're going to watch, and we're like, oh, okay, that's what the peanut butter meant.
Her carb intake. I think they were trying to be funny.
She did say she was allergic to peanut butter, though, right?
She said she never liked peanut butter.
She never liked
it
peanut
was
butter.
too much calories.
I thought they were trying to make like a creepy situation less creepy. Is how I viewed it, but it could mean something. I don't know.
Looked like something from that movie where I see dead people. I was like, ooh.
So she's wearing the necklace. She's eating peanut butter, and she makes a joke about heaven.
Well, and she tells Lacy, Danny killed me.
But that he was hot when he was doing
Yeah,
it.
with his, what did she call him, his murderous hands.
Do you think there's any truth to that, or was that just
I
her
think that's Lacy just dreaming, obviously. I really don't think Danny killed Regina.
So Lacy definitely thinks that Danny killed her because that's what
At this point,
doing.
yeah.
At this point, but I think now seeing the whole entire show, I think her thinking in her head, oh, that he was hot doing it, obviously that makes a little more sense now because they kissed and she obviously has feelings for him and think that he's hot. So that kind of makes a little more sense now.
Wait, they kissed? They did not kiss. No, it didn't happen. It did not happen.
That was a dream.
Jealousy. So at the same time, Joe and her parents are talking about the necklace, and Joe kind of explains to her mom and dad, like, hey, this necklace was a family heirloom. That doesn't mean that he's the murderer just because they're wearing the same necklace.
Do you think that Joe's dad kind of like, would it be smart for him to let her continue hanging out with Danny so he could get more information? Like, he seems to be telling her a lot. And of course, she relays it back to her parents. That would be smart.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be smart. I don't think that's how he's viewing it. I think he's really pissed at the whole situation, but he can't go against his wife and his daughter. Yeah. So it's kind of like he has no say in the matter.
God, there's a lot of tension between.
Oh, for sure, that whole family.
Wow. I hope there's not a divorce coming soon. That'd be some drama.
Season 2.
That'd be some real life drama.
That would be.
Some people killing.
Well, maybe Danny will kill Kyle and divorce won't have to happen. I mean,
that's the third person you've wanted to kill off.
I never said I wanted that to happen. I said it could happen.
So anyways, Joe and Rico talk about Fall Fest, and Joe doesn't really want to go just because it doesn't seem as fun this year, and
it's not her thing.
It's
She's
not
so
her
cool.
thing. Her best friend's a murderer. You don't want to go hang out in public. But they end up going. Jump to it. With no point of dragging it out. And so when they get there, it's this huge thing where before they even go, should Danny be allowed in?
Yeah, that in the festival, him going to the festival was a huge thing.
We get introduced to this Tim character, which is like
he's like the right-wing nut job is what they call them.
He's kind of a right-wing nut job, and I got a prediction about him later. But
I want to hear it.
Right now?
Yeah.
It's really more for predictions. I'll save it for predictions.
Okay.
But
No, he couldn't even coax you into telling.
because it wouldn't make sense to say it now. So we get introduced to him, and he's kind of an asshole. Well, I mean, his character. It's like it's written to be that way.
Oh, yeah.
He's written as the over-exaggerated, the guy who gets everyone riled up, the pour fuel on the fire.
Do small
guy.
towns really have community meetings like this?
Yeah, they do.
Because they did not where I grew up. And I grew up in a small town, and I've never seen. You always see these in the shows, like the community meetings where these people step up to the mic, like in Parks and Recreation, even, where everybody gets really involved. You know,
every community has a group of people who want to feel self-important. Just remember that.
Thank you, Steve.
So I mean, look at. I mean, the mayor. He's kind of like a weasel, and he likes to feel important because he probably doesn't even do that much. So that's his meeting, and that's why he likes to show his cojones to Kyle, who make Kyle look like an idiot. I mean,
Kyle is pretty much at this point
an
the
idiot.
way
Yeah,
he's carrying out.
Well,
but actually, the mayor makes a good point at the community meeting where he's like, "Hey, we're gonna take care of it. Everybody's gonna be safe." So for a second, I thought the mayor was gonna be on Team Danny for a little bit.
Didn't he say it was okay for him to attend the festival? So why?
But I don't think he thought he'd actually show up.
Well, he was basically coercing Kyle into saying, "Hey, it's your job to make sure Danny doesn't show up." Like without saying those words.
He's thinking too, if he does show up, it's going to be with your daughter.
Yeah.
Nobody else. It's not like he's going to show up by himself.
True. Which is stupid. It's a public place. He can go if he wants, which obviously he did.
Who's the other lady who was really like gung ho? Could that be her sister? Lacey's sister? Do you think that's Lacey's sister? I didn't know Lacey had a sister.
Yeah, because there was that one girl when we didn't really hear much about her except for she was always arguing for Danny.
She was probably just a featured extra.
You think so?
Because she showed up later in it too. They'll probably bring her back. Maybe she's just like an introduction character.
Really?
I think if it was her sister, they probably would have introduced her as his sister.
Yeah.
I kind of felt. I don't know. I felt like she's gonna have a bigger part.
Some sort of connection.
Yeah, there's something about her. I don't know. Maybe I'm just feeling something.
So we also find
he's like, "What are you?" It's like, I'm just feeling something here.
We also find out that not at this same meeting, but we find out that Phoebe's going to Manhattan and she has a brother. I don't know about that, but Archie, something, and Scott are ditching. So this is why we don't have any worry about seeing Archie at the place to cock block Lacy or Danny.
Which, thank God.
Which they did on purpose, ABC, purposely.
Yep.
And Sarita wasn't there as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So Danny and Joe end up going to the Fall Fest.
Everyone's staring.
Everyone's staring. Danny signs up for Joe's mom's pottery class. And Joe's mom, we find out this episode, is really gung-ho about their relationship. Which I think is kind of cool because she sees how happy her daughter is.
I don't know. She's gung-ho about the relationship. More that Joe's happy and getting out there more.
But I think moms want their daughters to, like, not necessarily date people who just got out of juvie, but like get in a relationship, and you know what I mean, like do things like go to the fake prom, what do they call it, the fall formal.
Fall festival.
Do you think maybe Tess is trying to get closer to Joe to kind of like, you know, say this relationship's kind of okay, just to kind of get closer to her?
I mean, she sees that Joe's going to do whatever she wants to do.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think she has a manipulative point of view as much as her dad does. I think she just wants her daughter to be happy.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, her daughter has been such the outcast in high school.
Yep.
Doesn't talk to Tess really, doesn't really communicate with them. So I think having a point like boys, like talking about boys, would be something that she, as a mother, like, mothers look forward to that. They look forward to when their kids, they can talk about like things like my dad's like talking about chicks.
Well,
like
and I almost think
about,
the fact that she has a backbone now and can stand up to her dad, I think her mom kind of respects that. Like, I raised this girl who's going to have an opinion and stand up for herself.
Yeah,
so even if it is being like, hey, my boyfriend's a murderer, like at least she's standing for something, you know?
It's not her boyfriend. That's all Lacey's right there. I know. You know what I'm saying?
So we get there working. They end up working at the pie place after he signs up for the pottery school.
Rico for the math.
Yeah,
I feel so bad for Rico all the time because he just gets the shaft.
But he
what's the shaft?
Well, he doesn't.
He gets left out.
Like left out.
He's so far in the friend zone.
So
there we
far.
go.
And he doesn't want to
remember
be.
at the beginning of this season where I was like, oh man, Rico was so in Joe's friend zone. You're like, no, he's not. No romantic interest there at all.
Wait, are you being...
Oh, you saying...
Wait, I think you're lying, because I'm
We
pretty
all
sure you
said-
said this.
Yeah, we all
Steven.
know.
No, it was the opposite.
No, you're lying.
Yes, no. Listen to the show.
I'll go back and listen, because
Yeah, I think
have
we
said
all
Rico
agree.
and Joe were together. I've said I want them to be gay. But Rico and
Said that
Joe
about Danny,
have
too.
this little thing. Yeah, that's true.
I think Rico just needs to be more assertive, though, if he's going to go after
He just
her.
slumps
He
over.
is.
He approaches
No, but
her.
I don't think Joe appreciates him.
No.
No, not at all. She doesn't
She's
appreciate
rude
anyone,
to
really.
him. She's
Yeah.
She
rude.
doesn't even notice how rude she is.
She's rude to everybody except Danny.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She
it's
really
true.
is.
But then Danny's rude to her.
Yeah, serves her right.
I have to talk about that. Okay, well, we talk about that.
We'll get to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But so we get some Rico Joe drama, like, oh, why are you acting like this? Blah, blah, blah. And then Danny tries to sell some pies, and Mr. Tim is there to...
See, and I would have kicked Tim out of the festival at this point, because he comes up and he pushes this guy. He's the one causing drama.
This is a boy
Yeah.
that you're dealing with. This is a grown man.
He's a
And that's when
murderer.
that girl comes back in and stands up for him again. I think
Yeah.
I do
I'm
think you're
telling
right.
you,
I
this
think
girl
she's got to
has
do something.
something to do with this.
And Kyle actually steps in and stops him for the first time.
Yeah.
And I think this was more not of a move to protect Danny, but just to like keep the peace in the festival.
And his daughter's like watching,
Yeah.
so it's not like he could just walk by.
So then at that same time, right after that, is when Joe tells Rico, hey, I'm going to the formal tonight with Danny. And Rico's kind of in shock because Joe never goes to the formal.
She's so wishy-washy. Kept saying she's going. She's not
She's
going.
not going, yep.
It's,
So then Joe's dad, this is like a he said, she said, Joe's dad then talks to Danny and is like, you're not going to the formal with my daughter.
I'll take those pies off your hands. Why don't you just go home?
Yeah.
he's so, the way he talks to Danny, it's like so like through his teeth, like, why don't you? It's like this fake look on his face.
Well,
the
because
whole
it's almost
time.
like, too, it's not like he's playing like the father
Yeah.
figure with this. He's playing like the bad cop. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's not like he's doing this to protect Joe.
Yeah.
It's doing it to protect his own reputation.
He's being a
You
dick.
think so? I mean,
Yeah.
I think he wants to protect Joe too. I mean, it is kind of disalarming for your daughter to be hanging out with someone who strangled someone with a
But
jump
do
rope.
you think that Kyle really thinks Danny did it? Or do you think
Yes.
it's easier for Kyle to just pin it on the most obvious suspect?
After the final speech, yeah. I feel like Kyle really thinks that
Yeah.
Danny did it.
Okay.
Yeah, he seems pretty upset more than someone. If he didn't think that, he would try to help Joe find a reason, find.
But I think obviously it's a small town too, so he cares about everybody's opinion and what they think about him.
True.
So
It
it's-
might look bad if he thought that Danny was innocent.
Yeah, because
It's-
Danny's the
yeah.
obvious scapegoat in the situation.
yeah, it's clear that he wants to figure out what happened. Even his wife, he just seems like the whole town is turning on him. So it's clear that he wants to save his reputation.
Well,
So-
it does kind of make everyone laugh at him in a way to have the person who's his main suspect he can't find any evidence on going around with his daughter.
Yeah.
And he can't do anything about that. So like that is kind of a mockery of who he is. So that probably irks him a lot more.
So sidetrack a little bit, but while this is all going on, Danny's mom is seeing this counselor.
Dr.
And
Reedy, I think it was.
She is kind of asking her, like, hey, what is a sociopath? What are the signs? Because obviously after she found the necklace last week, she's concerned that Danny potentially has something to do with Regina's death or knows something, is hiding something.
Now, this is a counselor that Danny's been seeing since he's got out of prison for
Yeah.
some months or weeks.
We're assuming this is the
Yeah,
first time we're
yeah.
introduced to her, but that's kind of how they
We're
talked
introduced
about her.
to what she is after Danny gets in the fight at school.
Yeah.
And they say that they're not going to expel him. They make him go to, or they make Archie go to that grief
yeah.
counseling, and they make Danny see a school counselor, like a school appointed counselor, and that's who she is.
Okay.
Which is, I think it's kind of a weird medical HIPAA line that parents can, I don't think parents can ask the counselors what their kids say, can they?
No.
No.
Doctor-patient confidentiality.
Yeah.
She didn't
Is
ask
that-
to be over 18.
Did she ask? And I
Oh,
thought
okay.
Maybe.
Yeah, I
No,
don't
she
know
didn't.
how that
She didn't
works.
ask any information. She just asked how he's doing. That's
Yeah.
different than asking.
And that counselor probably knows too, though. What are the signs of a sociopath? So I can tell people Danny's not one. Kind of obvious, Karen.
she was.
We
lying.
know you think he's guilty.
No, the counselor's probably being manipulated by Danny just as much as anyone else.
He does seem like a sociopath.
I don't
at
think
this
Danny.
point.
I don't think Danny manipulates people.
I think he does.
I think he has just like this facade that like he's scared because people are accusing him of being a murderer, so he just acts like he doesn't care.
What did he say to the mayor? He manipulated the mayor. He's
Sometimes
just
his
very-
facials give off like a manipulative look.
Yeah.
I think that's also probably why they casted Yvonne Georgia for this role, though, because he's got that look.
But do you really think he's actually telling the counselor anything?
No,
No.
but I don't
There you
think
go.
he's.
Never.
I don't
really
think
good
he's
liar.
trying to manipulate her either, though. I
He's
think
just being like, "Oh yeah,
yeah.
everything's great. I'm on the soccer team now." it's 2 thumbs up.
The kids love me.
It's entertainment for my soul.
Ooh. So then we get into the fall formal. So Lacy shows up with Regina's mom, which we can backtrack on that story a little bit as well. Lacy goes over to Regina's mom with pictures, and they're looking at the pictures, and they see the necklace on Regina. And I feel like Regina's mom knows something about the necklace that she's not telling, because she shut off as soon as Lacy started asking her about it.
I don't know. I feel like she's just tired of people like prying into the story, her business with her daughter still. Like, she still has this fresh wound.
But don't you think if it's your daughter's best friend, obviously you would say, why? What do you think? Because wouldn't you want to know who killed your daughter? Even
she
if
thinks Danny, like, she's gung-ho, like, bearing Danny. So I don't think she's one-track minded.
Okay.
It's that simple. Like, she's just one-track minded. I want to.
She just seemed a little odd to me.
Yeah.
She just seems like an odd character.
I think, like, if the cops are asking about this necklace, that maybe the two of them should maybe talk about this a little bit.
Yeah. And she almost seemed like she was off-put that Lacy would ask about it.
She's stone-faced. Like,
She
does,
is.
it just
I do
seems
not
like
like
there's
her.
no emotion. I can't really get a read on her.
Yeah. So they end up, the situation ends up that Lacy's going to help Regina's mom go through all these thank you notes. And
Oh,
No,
she had a
no,
plan.
they're not thank you notes.
or death notes, whatever you call them.
Thank you for
Thank you for dying.
Consolation letters.
Thank God the bitch is gone.
That was a plan of Lacey's.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, because you could see her
Yeah.
eye in those.
It was, yeah.
Her mom's like, I can save so much money on peanut butter now.
So she goes through the notes, and that's when she finds the one
Yeah,
with all of the money in it. And, Stephen, what did it say?
it said, deal still holds. This is the final payment. You keep your mouth closed or you know what will happen.
That's
And there was
very
like
threatening.
anywhere from like $1,000 to $2,000.
So do you guys have any speculation on who you think wrote this? Because I don't think Archie would threaten Lacy that way.
I literally was sitting there thinking it was Danny's dad. Literally just sitting there like, it has to be, he knows what happened. I think Danny's dad killed. Okay,
He
I'm
might
gonna
have
go,
the
like,
money to
crazy.
do this, though, because my first thought was it was Archie. That's first person who came to
But
mind. But he doesn't have, I don't know if he has that much
Oh,
money.
I guess I was thinking, I don't know.
Archie, why would he be paying Regina? He could probably like give her sex or something.
Well, that's
like,
what I'm thinking. Maybe they had some kind of relationship, and
Which we
He
kind of,
didn't
it was
want
hinted
it
at last week, obviously.
maybe
Yeah.
he didn't want it to get out and back to Lacy.
Oh, that's. I didn't
Steven?
think about that.
It was the mayor.
You think?
Yeah, he did come from nowhere.
Oh.
I think the
Why would the mayor send that, though?
You know what? But the necklace, they did say the necklace was in. So you were right about that. The necklace was in.
yeah,
lockup.
it was in police
So
lockup. Who else has access to it besides the police?
It's true.
And the mayor,
The
who
mayor.
has access to that kind of money,
Who
would be
also has
least
the police
suspected.
records that know that Danny's going to be released so he can pin this on somebody.
And I will also take it a step further. I was going to save her predictions. So in the previews for next episode, we see what appears to be the murder weapon, which looks to be a hunting or skinning tool. So it looks like now that we've had the confrontation between Tim and Danny, the mayor is trying to frame Tim for the murder of Regina by putting that murder weapon there.
Oh.
I missed that.
Huh.
Just like,
I
I
was so focused on the sexual tension.
Yeah, I totally missed
Oh, I
that.
had that focus too, but I'm just thinking how Tim fits into this all. And now they've had a confrontation, it makes sense to make it look like Tim was framing Danny.
I don't feel like Tim is going to be an important part of this story. I feel like he's just there to rile up.
I don't think
away.
Regina's murder is going to carry on the whole season, is what I'm saying, though.
Yeah.
You do or don't?
I don't.
You think someone else is going to get murdered? Because somebody.
See, I think it is going to carry
think-
on the whole season because I think if not, then nobody really has that much to be afraid of Danny for. You know what I mean?
I think somebody else is.
Like, unless
that's
somebody else
predictions.
mysteriously dies or something
Yeah.
like that happens.
We'll maybe see Tim die.
That's what
We'll
I'm
know that
thinking.
it's
Because
Tim
he's
and then
just
Tim will
this
die.
Oh.
annoying, like, angry person who needs to be offed, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
Yeah.
get
like
into the
Sarita.
fall formal. So Regina shows up and she looks at, or not Regina.
Regina
Lacey.
shows up.
Regina comes back from the dead. Regina's whole memorial thing is happening, and it's kind of creepy with the candles and the
That's
pictures.
sweet.
You think
You've
it's
never.
sweet?
I've had someone die in my high school when we've done like a memorial. to
Okay.
them.
I just thought it was
Sad.
weird. Like, you're like bumping and grinding, and then you look over and there's all the pictures of the
Oh
dead
my
girl.
God,
You know what I mean?
Jason.
It's on the
Bumping
dance.
and grinding.
Jason.
Nobody
That's
was doing that.
That's what you do at a dance.
We do have to know how beautiful
Did you not
Joe
go to
looked
prom?
in
It was
her
a little.
dress.
I thought it was gonna be like a high school prom. It turns out
It
it was
wasn't
like
a
a whole
prom. It was-
community
Yeah.
prom.
It was a formal.
Prom was a formal festival.
I know, we were so excited for prom.
This
Then it's
wasn't
the fall
quite
formal.
prom.
So lots happens at this. There's an apple tossing contest. And
Why
That
did the
definitely
mayor
happens
announce
at prom.
Danny? What
I
a
don't know.
dick.
See, I think the mayor has something to do. He's gonna try to like put Danny in the limelight.
but that actually backing up your theory would make sense to put if he really is trying
to
to
put
pin it
Danny
on,
against Tim.
Yeah, if he's trying to pin it on Tim, that would make sense because there they go fighting again.
Yeah.
And maybe he was thinking there'd be another outburst.
And Danny making jokes with Tim, like, what is he thinking? Like, hey, we could split the money. Come on,
I think
Danny.
I think that's kind of how he deals with awkward situations.
Yeah,
though, is he
but-
just makes a joke out
Yeah,
of
that's
them.
his personality. He did it with Archie. He does it with the soccer team and things like that.
So
too.
then let's talk about the love triangle at this whole thing. So Rico shows up. He tries to talk to Joe while they're tossing the apples, and then Joe ignores him. So then, fast forward a little bit, Danny and Joe do their weird little funny dance.
Dance.
They
It
invite
wasn't
Lacey
funny.
to come and dance with them, and she's like, "You're really gonna do that?"
By the way, such a dick thing to say to somebody. Oh, I'm really glad I got to see you. And then turn around.
Yeah, that joke.
Yeah.
I'm like, you bitch.
And the way she did
She
it was
always,
so quick, like,
she always just gives him the cold shoulder.
Yeah.
and then she turns back around like he's gonna still be standing there. Like, come on.
Like, no, he's not. So they do their weird funny dance, which is awkward.
everybody's
not
like,
funny.
here's everybody's face.
It wasn't that funny. No.
And then they do like they go into the slow dance. And Joe, I don't want to slow dance. No.
Oh, she's so
and then
wanted.
she tries to make out with him like 18 times during that dance.
It's gross.
Her face was just like,
It was like, did she get all hot? And it would just seem like she was going like,
It did. It seemed like that. Like she was going like hormones. She was like,
putting her head on
And
her.
then
and you
just like-
almost, I almost thought maybe they were gonna go for it and we'd get two big makeout scenes in this
That'd have been
episode.
so wrong.
But
it was straight up head first, and he turned away like this.
Did she?
yeah,
I went for the
but
kiss.
you know what?
I didn't see that.
She
No,
deserves
it
that
did.
after what she did to Rico. Karma.
Ooh, yeah.
So she went in for the kiss.
Kinda, yeah.
Oh,
Did-
yeah.
okay, are y'all
multiple
just
times.
saying that, or
No.
No.
Because I
she
saw her
went-
head flip around like
She
this a
definitely
few
wanted to
times.
kiss him.
You don't slow dance with an open mouth.
There are signals that you want to kiss, and she did about
Thank you.
10 out of 30 of those things.
Exactly.
Like all at the same time.
It was socially awkward. I
It
did
was
not
so
know those
awkward.
signals.
He's like, oh, I got to
Clearly.
check my cell phone. Oh.
So
oh.
then Danny gets a text from Lacy, we find out, and he's like, oh, I gotta go home. He goes to meet Lacy at the tree. Stephen brought up an interesting point. She brings out this envelope full of cash. First thing she does is hand it to him, and he gets his fingerprints all over it.
I'm like, are you stupid?
Steven pauses it and gets angry and yells.
Yeah, I paused it like, are you kidding me? So we have Danny, who the only evidence against him is the necklace.
Yep.
But now there's a threatening letter with money in it sent to Regina. Let's put it in Danny's hands.
But now I think that the three of them are going to be together. That's not going to be as big of an issue
Yeah,
if
it's
they're bringing
not.
him the letter. But when that first happened, it was,
I was
like,
just,
what?
Oh
It
my
was
god.
still like they're all three of their handprints are on it now. It's just
So
So now they're not going to use
yeah.
the fingerprints, is what
but
we're
Lacy
saying.
was trying to say, like, I don't want to go to the police because I don't want to. I think Lacy knows that Regina was a horrible person. And so she doesn't want to expose her for that.
she wasn't that bad.
Yeah, she-
Regina was a child with some issues, but she wasn't a horrible person.
And looking good wasn't one of them.
No. But I think she was horrible.
Yeah,
not
she was
as bad
kind
as
of
Serena.
not a good person.
That's true. Yeah, so
runs
that's
in
why
the
Lacy
family,
doesn't
though.
want to go to
Her
the
mom's
police.
not a
So
nice
then
person either.
Danny's like, we're going to the police with this. And then it happens. The kiss.
They get close.
No,
Let me-
he's
I'll
like, why'd
narrate
you
it.
get me alone? Like, why did you
He did
text
that
me?
so
this?
sexy too. Why'd you want me here? Why'd you want me here? So you could get me alone?
He like whips out his haircut.
I felt it. Did y'all see? I was like, oh my god.
Well, I thought they weren't going to for like a split second, and then they did it,
Yeah.
and then they stopped, and then they did it some more.
Yeah.
It's
I
like the
wish
Barry
that we
White's
would have
playing.
got all of our reactions when that kiss
It was
happened
so
because that was
sexy.
priceless.
We were screaming.
We were all screaming.
They were
like, "Oh my
screaming.
gosh!"
They were flipping me off. They were telling me I was wrong.
Steven, suck it.
Stephen was so sure that they were not gonna kiss.
Wait, I want to narrate the kiss real quick. So she kisses him. And then she turns away so dramatically to walk away. He grabs her, pulls her back, and he puts one right on her. It was so amazing.
Do you need a minute?
I didn't even. I didn't recover. I couldn't recover.
Apparently not. So Joe invites Rico to go to the diner. This is kind of during all this kissing is happening. She's like, hey, I'm meeting Danny at the diner. Little does she know he's going to show up with Lacy. And Rico's
She invited Rico, though.
Rico's like,
Yeah,
I can't go. I have bunions.
I'm chafing.
And then she's like, well, my parents can give you a ride home. Which is also a dick move. Like,
yeah.
let me see if my mom can drive you home. And Rico's like, no, I'll walk. She's like, oh, what about the bunions?
And he's like, I don't really have them. Like,
So while Rico's walking home, he sees Karen come out with the necklace. And she's
He doesn't
wearing leather
know
gloves.
what she threw.
do you think? Because then at the previews, he says,
He says to the officer, yeah.
Yeah, he says she saw her throw something. He doesn't
Which
know
is
it's a
so
necklace.
weird
he-
because,
I
like,
think
why
he
would
knows,
you
though.
go to the police saying she threw something if you had no clue what it was?
Yeah, he knows.
No, he
Because-
does
and
not
he-
know,
and he's-
but he's got reasonable suspicion.
And she looks.
I think he knows because he even brought up the necklace is on his mind. He brought it up to Joe earlier, too.
What did he say?
Well, he asks, how do you trust him?
Yeah.
She asks, how do you trust
he
Danny?
lied about
Because he
this
lied about the
necklace.
necklace. He lied about that.
So that's fresh in his mind.
And then when she offered him the ride, he was like, no, because it wouldn't make sense with the riders because I have to find Karen dumping this necklace.
Yeah.
I have to go to the lake in the middle of the night while people are getting murdered.
With bunions on my feet.
we need the light on the camera to be really low so we can barely make out who's standing there.
Yeah, Rico looked creepy.
I
in
think
that
he
light.
knows.
He looked creepy in the dark.
But guys, we need to talk about Serial Buddies. If you don't know. I forgot to bring it up. But if you go to www.serialbuddies.com, there are links to download the movie, and it's like $4 or $5. And it is like an indie comedy serial killer movie, and it's hilarious. It's got Artie Lang, Maria Menounos, Beth Barris from Two Broke Girls, and so many others. And all of the money from the movie goes back into AfterBuzz, so we can keep giving you these podcasts for free.
Indeed.
And it's like $4 or $5, so you can afford it.
Yeah, Serial Buddies is a really great movie. It's from Kevin and Maria. It's got Kathy Lee Gifford, Christopher Lloyd, Beth Bez from Two Broke Girls. It's really quite fantastic.
If everybody listening could see our engineer Marissa's reactions to this,
Her face
they're
is literally
priceless.
telling me to kill myself. Literally.
She's just hanging her head in shame.
Well, I have to say,
which she should be.
I have to give a shout out to one of our commenters who said that my voice sounds like Scott Disick from the Kardashians, and he had to literally turn on the television or his internet to see that it was not Scott Disick. In fact, it was Stephen Lemieux.
Thank you.
Really, I've never.
So I figured I'll change my voice for the rest of the
Oh my
broadcast.
God.
Thankfully, we're almost done. So, Joe's parents get into a fight about Joe and Danny and the whole thing, and Kyle's kind of like, now I've got my wife and my daughter turned against me. And it's like, hey, maybe you should take a step back then. If your whole family's against you, maybe they see something that you don't.
Maybe she married Kyle Masterson and not Dick Kopp.
Oh my God. So, anyways,
Well, he's got a point though.
Yeah.
He has a point.
but I don't think he does.
As much as he is an ass, he has a point.
No, but I think she has a point too. If he's really so guilty, where's the evidence?
No, she does have a point, but
your family should stand beside you. And this is his job, this is his career, and they should still kind of support him and have his back.
See, but I feel like he should stand beside his family.
no, he's standing for his family, but what's the problem is his wife is the one who's supposed to have a good head on her shoulders, and she's not supporting him.
But maybe he should take that into consideration, that she does have a good head on her shoulders, and why isn't she supporting you?
Well, maybe she shouldn't be an idiot. I mean, she's condoning her daughter being a rebellious teenager.
I mean, she's not condoning
I don't think
it.
it's rebellious. If your mom is supporting it.
Well, she's being rebellious, definitely. They've
Maybe she's
asked
just
her.
trying to keep tabs on her.
But they both asked her not to hang out with Danny, and she's just doing it anyway. So.
You
Well,
do
I
what you
think
gotta
her
do
mom
for
feels
love.
sorry for Karen, and that's why she's giving Danny a chance, and that's why she's being more lenient with Joe. But at the same time, like, don't let your marriage go to shit because you have your daughter wants to
See,
be
but
a
I
serial
think
killer.
that lies in the fault of Kyle.
He has been a little.
He's not handling it right.
And he's
Yeah.
never there. Like, she asked him to help her clean out the garage. He wasn't really available to do that. Kept pushing it back. So he's kind of slacking on his part as a father, too.
Yes.
True.
I think their marriage is going to suffer. But we'll talk about that when we get right now into some predictions.
And now,
Did we really get over everything? Wow.
Predictions.
Okay, I want to predict first because I want to piggyback off of that. I do think throughout the season that maybe Joe's parents will have some sort of separation.
Oh, I hope not. That's a lot of drama.
I know, but we need it.
No, we do not.
I love some drama.
There's a lot
Don't you
going
think, can
on.
you see that happening though?
Yeah, but I'm hoping the writers aren't going to do that as ABC Family. We want to keep the families together, guys.
True.
Okay.
That's not like an ABC Family trait. Do you watch Pretty Little Liars?
Pretty Little Liars are all a hot mess.
Yeah, families are not together. I don't think that they're gonna find the necklace because after what the mayor said in this episode with the whole PR debacle and everything like that, they're gonna break apart what Rico says. It's like, it was nighttime. Did you really see the necklace? Did you really know what she threw? Can we really justify finding divers and paying for all this to search the bottom of a lake for something that you don't even know what it is? So they're not going to find the necklace. They're not going to be able to do it. It's just going to make Kyle a lot more suspicious of Karen.
Really? I think that they are going to go dive for the necklace. It's very it's just the only thing that they have.
I don't think it's that important because they have no proof that Danny ever had it.
But they have
So it could be, you know what I mean?
That Karen threw it in the... I don't know if he saw it or not, but I'm pretty sure that they're going to assume that...
But then at the same time, it's his word against hers.
True. And they did go through the entire house. They didn't find the necklace because obviously it was hidden very well.
Not very well.
Yeah.
In the chair, yeah.
Oh,
Obviously not very well, but very well for the cops.
I'm going to predict that Joe is going to find out about Lacey and Danny and do like a 360 and turn on him and start really siding with her father and stuff and trying to find it. Because I think she really did love him. And that's going to crush her, finding out about it.
I don't think she'll turn
She'll
on
not
him,
fall
though.
out yet. She won't find out.
They won't fall. You don't think she's
not going to find out
soon?
yet. Not yet.
Really?
I predict that she's gonna find out.
I think she's
Next
gonna
episode?
because she
Maybe.
kind of knew something.
Huh.
Her face when they came
when
in,
they
she
and
was
she
like,
wiped off her lip gloss and she knew something was up as soon as they walked in together.
and then they looked all, Danny looked back like.
I thought
yeah,
almost
me and
like
Lacey.
that they were like holding hands at first when they walked in.
She was shocked.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is that time where like if you have two friends who are like dating and they go away for a while and they come back and you're like,
Yeah, you know.
you know.
What did
Especially
you
since
do?
Danny was supposed to be going home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To do something, whatever he was doing, and then shows up with Lacey. Like, that's
Well,
a
did
little
he say?
random.
Did he say that Lacey texted him, or did he say?
No,
that
he
No.
said he had to go
Lacey-
home to go do something, right?
Oh yeah,
And-
awkward.
yeah.
Yeah.
So my total prediction though is that the mayor is the one who's setting this all up. The mayor is the one that Regina has something on that she was blackmailing, and the mayor killed Regina using a hunting knife that he's going to plant and let be found with Tim's
The
fingerprints.
mayor
on it.
at the party with the hunting knife.
I just got this thought. Maybe the mayor gave Regina that necklace as a gift because they had like some kind of thing going on.
No, that's what I'm saying. It was 7 months. It was 7 months. They had a thing going on. She was underage,
well,
and
and we
she
all know
blackmailed him
that
about it.
Regina likes to get around.
No, yeah. They had
So,
a thing. She
yeah.
blackmailed him about it, and that's why the necklace was a gift to her from him because he got it out of lockout.
How
And he's got
gross,
the money
though.
to pay her.
Well, he can't, because if you're in a position like that, you can't go out and spend $1,500 on a gift for a mistress.
That's valid.
Like, you got, well, because your wife's going to find
I
out
know
whatever.
a lot about this.
So let's just steal
I know.
one from evidence.
No, yeah. Who's gonna look? This kid's been in jail for 5 years. Who's gonna go into his aunt's things and take the
Do
evidence?
you think he killed her though?
Regina?
Yeah.
I think he killed Regina. I think he might
So
have
then
had
I
her
think
killed or did.
I think he pulled that out of evidence. If that's what we're going on, I think he pulled the necklace out of evidence to plant it on Danny because he knows Danny's record and when he's coming out of jail.
How would he plant it on Danny? He gave it to
he gave
Regina.
it
No, but that's why I think he did. Like this is the dead aunt's necklace. This boy that killed his aunt is coming out of jail. Let's give this to Regina. She dies, and then hey, he's to blame.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
That makes
Like it's
sense.
all.
It
full
depends on
circle.
when the blackmailing started.
That's true.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
You don't know if it's a gift or whether it was.
There's so
Before
many.
we go, though, we want to remind
Payment.
everybody to go onto iTunes and rate and subscribe the Twisted AfterBuzz Show and give us 5 stars and lots of good comments and share the YouTube link with everybody. And we will be in here next week. But until then, where can they find you guys?
I am on Twitter and Instagram at Heather Joy Smith.
I am on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook at just Lina Green.
You can find me on the World Wide Web under Twitter at Stephen Lemieux. I'm not Scott Disick, if that's what you're wondering, and it's StephenLemieux. Stop laughing at me, guys.
Oh my God! You can find me on Twitter
You're
and
being
Instagram
ridiculous.
and Vine at Jason Ikeler, and we will see you guys in here next week.
Hashtag Jason Ikeler.
Twisted! No, Twisted.
From
Twisted!
executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.